All right, so let's see what this answers are to this very tricky worksheet. It looks very simple, but unless you're really thinking about things, this one's easy to mess up. I've seen this happen over and over again. Now, some groups did get this correct, and my hat's off to you if you did. So let's take a look at the directions here. It says each circle represents an atom, and each different color represents a different kind of atom. If two atoms are touching, then they're bonded together. So if we look at this first one here, I'm just going to look at one particle. We've got a black one combined with two white ones. All of these look exactly the same. So these must be not an element, because there's two different types of elements or in each one of these compounds. Compound. Well, it's definitely a compound because those atoms are joined together. It's not a mixture of elements. It's not a mixture of compounds because all of these look the same. So this has to be just B, a compound. This next one, number 2, we're looking at these, and none of these are touching. So none of these are a compound. I've got the white element, and I've got the black element, and I've got both of them present. So this must be a mixture of elements, which is C. Here in this next one, I've got two atoms that are joined together, but they're the same type. And I've got this one here where we've got black atoms and white atoms joined together. So this is definitely some sort of mixture, but the question is, is this a mixture of elements and compounds or a mixture of compounds? Well, remember, a compound, by definition, you have two different types of atoms that are combined. So this has to be an element. This would be a diatomic element, maybe like oxygen, nitrogen. Remember Brinkelhoff? So bromine, iodine, nitrogen, chlorine, hydrogen, oxygen, fluorine. It must be that these are probably one of those types of molecules. So we've got an element, and we've definitely got a compound right here. So this has to be E, a mixture of elements and compounds. Number 4, that's definitely a compound. We've got two different types of atoms combined. This is another type of compound. So this must be a mixture of compounds, which would be D. Here we've got all the same type of element, just one kind, so that's got to be just A, an element. These here, these all look the same. We've got 4 black ones to 2 white ones, so that just has to be a compound. This one here, we've got more of these diatomic. These are the same types of atom, same color, so this must be more of the diatomic element. So this would be just element, which is A. Here we've got elements, and this would have to be a compound. So we've got a mixture of elements and compounds, so that would be E. Here we've got an element. Here we have another element, because the atoms are the same type of atom. So we've got to have a mixture of elements, which is C. This next one here, and we've got a compound, two different elements that are combined together, and then we have an element because these atoms are the same type, another diatomic element. So that's going to be a mixture of elements and compounds. This one's here is a little tricky because if you glance at it right away, you can kind of get lost in this. This is the same, and that is the same, and this is the same. So it seems like we've got all the same type of compound. So this must be B, a compound. Here, this one at first glance makes you go, oh, it's all the same thing. But if you look carefully, we've got 2 black and 1 white. In this type of particle, we've got 1 black and 2 white. So we've got 2 different compounds here. The ratio of the elements is different. So this must be a mixture of compounds, D. This next one is similar. We've got 4 black to 2 white. In this type of particle, we've got 2 black to 4 white. So this would be another mixture of compounds. This one looks pretty much like a mixture. There's one type of compound, there's another type of compound. So this is going to be another mixture of compounds. And this one's pretty easy too. We can see that there are two different types of compounds here. So this would be another mixture of compounds. So the take home here is you have to look carefully to see, do we have the same type of atom? If these are the same type of atom, this is going to be an element. If we have different types of atoms combined together, this is going to be a compound. You can tell one compound from another one by looking to see, this would be, we're going to call this element white. We've got two of those. We have element black. We've got one of those, so that's the formula for that particular compound. The formula for this compound would be white 1 and black 2. So they're two different chemical formulas. So these are two different compounds. And that's the answers to this worksheet.